everyone to the regular season finale at Michigan for the NITRO Racing League and the Cup Series. Unfortunately, there wasn't really a playoff battle with how certain people showed up and didn't show up, but yeah, this is a little crazy race. It qualified P2, which was kind of a surprise to me because they usually suck at qualifying, and this race is 100 laps. Stages are 25, 25, 50. And we had high draft on for this race. So we knew this race was going to be pretty wild going into it. But this was actually a very, very clean race for all things considered with high draft and everything. So everyone had a lot of fun in this one. But you can see I made the early move to take the lead here. And we discovered pretty quickly the draft was gonna win. it was gonna be insane when you gain like a half a second. You can gain like a half a second down a straightaway on people. So, but we're gonna jump up a few laps here in a second, and I lead like the first like 3 or 4 laps. So not much to show when you just run on the bottom there. But Chaffee goes to my inside, and then in turn 3 and 4, yeah, my car just didn't turn. I went straight to the wall. But yeah, and then once you get stuck out here, it can be a little tough. It can be pretty tough. So we're just when you get stuck on the outside, it's really tricky. So a few laps there, you can see I've lost quite a few spots all the way down to 7th, now 8th, and then we go into turn 3 and 1 and 2. I mean, and you can see 4 wide, and everyone's keeping it clean. I decide better to back out of it a little bit, and give up a few spots. People soon discovered it didn't really matter if you gave up 2 or 3 spots. You can get 5 spots a lap if you really tried. And Chaffee had an instant moment there. But a few laps later, you can see I moved my way up to P4, and it's 3 wide for the lead between Jonathan, Cameron, and Bryce. And there was a lot of 3 wide for the lead this race. So it looks like Bryce backed out a bit, and I let him in and stuff. So not too much to no reason to really force the issue this early, but it is what it is. But this race was so fun. This race was so fun. It was unbelievably fun. But a few laps later, lap 10, and kind of the field kind of strung themselves out a bit. I go into 3 and 4, and gets a little tight. Still very tight, very, very, very. It gets so tight, and then I hit the wall, and then it slides me out. I thought I'm going to go down to the pit road, but I save it, and obviously here I thought my stage was done because I was like, oh, I lost the draft. There's no hope to catch him because I thought the draft would just let him pull away. And I get in the wall again there for some reason because I'm derping. And a few laps later, at this point I've caught 6/10 on the lead pack, so I was like, I felt actually pretty good that I was gonna get back up there to the pack just because they were racing so hard. But I knew we had to hit our marks here. And we did have a pit stop at the end of the stage, before the end of the stage, just because of the fuel needs. You can see we have now kind of caught the pack. Lap 19 here. We have about 3 laps of gas left. And then, yeah, I was about 4 seconds back, and now we have caught the pack here. So, just in time for the pit stops. And this was going to be an interesting call because I didn't really know what to do. I was kind of nervous about my tires because my right rear was wearing out quite a bit. Car was pretty loose at this point. As you can see, there was about an 8% difference there, and I decided I'm going to pit. I think I pit here, but I wanted to pit early because I'm in the back and I can get a nice entry however I like. So here I come into the pits here. I'm like the only one that come in. I came in a little way too soft there. I took 2 tires, and here's me coming out all alone because no one else did my strategy really. But Durham like super sure pitted behind me, but he didn't really gain anything. And then lap 22, you can see the people coming out of the pit. I think all these guys took 2, and there was a couple that took gas only. I believe Mahu and Bryce did, and they were going to battle for the stage win. But lap 23 coming to lap 24, coming to 2 to go in the stage. Cameron slides up a little bit, and I try to pounce on it, and we get on his inside, and we're going to try to pass him into 1 and 2. And here we are with 2 to go in the stage. And then, Durham there, I think he short pitted too much and had to he had to pit again, and then there was some contact there between Libert, Cameron, and me, and I'm actually able to get away there. So kind of the last corners of the stage. Bacon gets a nice run out in the center of 3 and 4, but I kind of cut him off, and I'm gonna keep the position for P5 in stage 1. It was a decent stage. Good comeback for what happened in the middle of it. Like, basically run down the pack again. And, yeah. So, this was after our initial pit stops. And we noticed we were super close on fuel. So, coming to the choose cone, a lot of people decided to pit. And I somehow ended up back in 3rd. But the 14 is the control car. So, he's going to get the nice jump here. And Chaffee doesn't really go. So, and yeah, you can see the outside got rolling on the start. So it was kind of interesting. The outside could actually make some moves if there's things were to happen, because it's kind of hard to keep it on the bottom without sliding up most of the night. Yeah, and then I go 3 wide, at least poke my nose, but I decide better of it. But I get freight trained on the outside bit here, and 3 and 4 I get a little tight, get into Bryce a little bit, but we're 3 wide, and that's gonna sort itself out back to 2 wide. And Bryce is lagging, and he kind of hits me a little bit there. I'm pretty sure that was just lag. But Bryce had a few leg surges this race. It was a little scary at times, but a few laps later, you can see I'm running in 4th. But like right now, I'm literally like half or quarter throttle because I'm just trying to save some gas because it's really, really close to the to make it to the end of the stage. So, I mean, at this point, I was just like half throttle and just vibing at this point. Because the draft, you'd be half throttle and you'll still catch the guys in front of you because the draft's so strong. But a lap later here, the caution came out. You can see on the track map there was quite the commotion in the back. So here coming to the restart here. I believe Chaffee was the leader on this restart. He took 2 tires. Spoiler alert, it did not go well. So I felt pretty good at where I was restarting here because I felt like if Chaffee was just going to push up, and he does, he's not able to turn in. And Jonathan actually got into it a little bit there. But get a nice run through 1 and 2, and then I thought about making a move, but decided just to ride behind him for a minute. And yeah, the tensions were rising already because near the end of the stage, 11 laps, everyone can make it, so it's all out at this point. No holding back. So, and then at this point behind us, there was some more commotion, and then we had another caution. So another caution comes out, and P2 at this point, but I decided to pit under this caution and ended up in P3. So I felt pretty good about that. So basically didn't lose any ground because the guy in second here is in such a disadvantage. I'm essentially second just because the inside is where you want to be on the restart. And yep, we got about 7 to go in the stage, and the intensity keeps rising near this race a little bit. So I'm big Cameron's bumper here, and I decide, you know what, I'm just gonna go for it. And he's trying to block me a little bit, but I think my nose is there, and I think he accepts the fact that it might be there. And I go into 3 and 4 on his inside, but it's getting tight. But he slides up a bit too, but I'm able to go and make the pass at this point. And I was leading for a couple laps here, and then we go into 3 and 4, and Jonathan and Bryce my teammates are behind me at this point, and I got really tight in the center of 3 and 4. Didn't think I could block Jonathan there, and then JGR teammates are 3 wide for the lead, coming to 5 to go in the stage. And it was very intense, this race, but like you never felt like it was unmanageable just because it was just like the track's so wide and stuff. But me and Bryce got really slow in the center there. I slide up a bit and then hit Bryce a bit, but everything's A-okay. Besides the chaos behind me in my mirror. And then Yeah, it's hard to talk about it because there's just so much happening. And then Bryce got into Mahu there, and made him really slide up. That was a little bizarre. But here we come to 4 to go in this. Oh no, we cut it to 2.5 to go in the stage, and me and Bryce were just staying in line, just trying to catch Jonathan. But I decided it's go time, and I make my move to the inside of Bryce. But Bryce is, I saw him coming down, so I decided to get out of it because that wasn't going to be pretty if I didn't get out of that. I think all three of us would have been in big trouble there. So coming to 2 to go in the stage at this point, and then if we're going to jump to the last lap of the stage, just because we had just kind of ran single file there. But Bryce clears Jonathan kind of, but he pushes up, and then I decide, you know what, he's just going to block the inside, so I'm going to go through the middle and 3 wide for the lead, and then Mahu's going to push Bryce, and at this point I know what I have to do. In 3 and 4, I'm just going to full send it and hope it sticks, and yeah, it didn't really stick because it got really tight in the middle, but we're going to come home in P3 in the stage, and Bryce is going to win his first stage of the season and get a playoff point, which could be very valuable because the playoffs start next week at Bristol. I'm sure that will be a nice civil race. But I did the same thing on this race on the choose cone where I pitted just get the extra lap of gas just because you never know how things play out. So to have a little extra insurance can give you the ability to do some extra stuff near the end of a run or race. So this restart, yeah, so starting in the back and then not much happened, really. I mean, we're 3 wide, but like that's just kind of the norm for this race at this point. But jumped up to lap 55 here, and you can see I'm still in 7th. And then Cheve has a huge lag, and then me and Combat are the losers in that exchange just because we had nowhere to go and basically lost a ton of ground. But we do eventually end up catching back the lead pack, just how the race went basically. But you can see lap 59 we are basically in the lead pack, but you can see everyone's it's a lot calmer now, and I think people are just content with just riding for a little bit just because there's still 42 laps to go at this point. And yeah, this was definitely a calmer point in the race. Lap 62 you can see me Bryce are on the inside and just trying to pass some people, but the aggression levels were definitely down at this point. As people were just trying to ride, because at this point it was still a 2-stop race. So yeah, and then lap 63, I decided, you know what, it's time to make some action happen. On the outside, I'm riding behind Bacon, or Cameron is his real name, but I decided, you know what, going 3 wide into turn 1 because I just want to lead at this point. It is my home track, so I want to put on a good show, right? Lap 64, and we have retaken the lead, and my car felt really good at this point. My car was pretty snug, but honestly, you kind of wanted to be snug just because if you were loose, you just couldn't really do anything in my head. That's how I thought about it. If you were loose off the turns, you would lose ground and you wouldn't be able to make passes happen as easily. So I thought being a little snug was going to be the better option, and I think it did turn out pretty well in this race. So, and then me and Cameron are just side by side at this point. But lap 66 here, and where Bryce decides to take it 3 wide. It's really tight, and I kind of like panicked a bit, but yeah. So that was a little nerve wracking, but business started to pick up a little bit again, but it went back to being pretty calm real quick. So lap 69, nice by the way, and trying to make a move here on Mahu, and then Bryce gets super loose, and I see it, and I just go straight as low as I can, and Jonathan sees it too, but everything's A-okay, because there was no contact between anybody there, I don't think, and somehow everyone is A-okay, and we didn't lose any ground, so jumping up to lap 70 here, and then I made a mistake there. I was expecting Mahu to turn in earlier, and then when I turned in, he didn't turn in when I thought he would, so it sent me up the track, and obviously my fault there. And we are nearing the first set of green flag pit stops in this stage if it goes green all the way. And lap 72 and almost 3 wide for the lead again. And then I get a nice run through the middle here. And I decided to just push Jonathan because I don't really have any other choice at this point. And then Bryce has got a huge run, and he's going to look 3 wide for the lead down the front stretch on lap 73. But it's just like that, man. You could be a half a second back, and you could be in the lead by the end of the straightaway. The runs were massive if you elected to use full advantage of them. So the end of this race was going to be very interesting if you wanted to lead or you want to be like second. Hell, you might want to even be third. But lap 74 here, and you can see Bryce here is letting off to give some space for the pit stops here because everyone stretched it as far as they could, and everyone was going to come in this time, so everyone was a little nervous of what may or may not happen. But actually, Jonathan stays out one extra lap, but literally everyone else comes in this time, and I think everyone came in pretty easy because they didn't want to run anyone over, so... I had a really good pit stop. I was able to overtake Mahu here, but you can see there's a little distance between Connor in the 95 and Cameron in the 12 at this point, but me and Mahu will eventually run them down, and then Jonathan ends up in between me and Connor, I believe. So basically we have a 5-horse race at this point, as these 5 cars have broken away through the pit stop cycle. So we're about 23 to go at this point, and everyone was kind of content with running for a bit, but I wasn't, to say the least. I wanted to be in the lead at this point, so I was trying to get to the lead and fight hard, but I make a move to the outside. Cameron gets a little tight in the middle, and then Mahu goes on the inside of Bacon. Cameron, I mean, is his real name. And then I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm hitting Bacon. And then I'm like, you know what, let's do it one more time just for good measure, for being to show that I'm a real clown tonight. But 20 to go at this point. I drive it into 1 and 2 really hard, and it kind of sticks, actually, but not on the exit. And then Mahu slides up, but he's going to give me the draft, and I'm going to get a huge run down the backstretch, and I'm going to make a move to the inside to the lead at this point. And then he kind of just lets it go because he knows he can't really do anything on the outside. And then, but he gets a nice run through the middle because I slide up, and then Bacon's going to get a little bit of a run, but that run ain't going to develop into anything. But jumped up to lap 84, and you can see I am leading at this point. And Mahu was having this weird issue at this point where, like, it was like his engine power would cut out. I'll have to talk to him about like what that issue is because I've never heard of it. Basically, to start slowing down on the straightaway is really bizarre. But lap 93, like the 10 laps we skipped there, I was leading the entire thing, so not much really to show. Everyone's kind of content with us riding because we knew we had one more pit stop, and we were gonna kind of just wait until after the pit stops to get the race really going and that. So they don't know it. I'm going to pit here, but they don't know that because I wanted to be a little sneaky, and then they were surprised when I did it. And somehow I do not speed. I don't know. I put it right on the limit. I only took gas, so yeah, I come out, and Mahu and Jonathan were the 2 other people that were in that lead pack at that point, and they stayed out a little longer, but they also took gas only, so like there was no real advantage or anything. But you can see Mahu's here coming out of the pits, and Jonathan's just entering the pits. So this was it's gonna be interesting to see what order we came out in. But I was able to get ahead of Mahu barely. But you can see Jonathan here. He's coming out on lap 97, so we're coming to 3.5 laps to go in the race. And you can see he's actually going to end up jumping me and Mahu and take the lead of the race. But here we come to the last part of the race in a second here. Lap 99, 2 to go. I look on the inside of Jonathan, and I get too tight, and he's able to stick the outside pretty good. And I just could not stick the bottom, but he didn't get the best exit as he slid up a little bit. Mahu didn't get a good exit, so I end up sliding behind Jonathan, and I'm going to get the draft. And I'm going to go and try to make a move into turn 3. And I enter. I'm going to nudge him a little bit. The car stopped turning as soon as I nudged him. It was just not good. And then Mahu goes to the inside, and we're coming to the white flag, 3 wide for the lead at Michigan. And, I was pretty nervous at this point, and I felt like I choked the race away because I wanted this one so bad, and but the race wasn't over at this point. I let off early to try to get a nice run through the middle and exit, and I do, and it's a good center of the turn, and I'm getting ground on Mahu, but I slide, it gets loose off turn 2, and I knew at this point the race was over. I had nothing. There was nothing you can do when that happens. Mahu's going to be too far ahead at this point, and I was I was pretty sad at this point, and I shoved Jonathan off the track. So I'm like, I'm just gonna take second, and Mahu's going to win the regular season finale in a crazy finish at Michigan, and yeah, I was pretty heartbroken because I messed up. I wanted to tap Jonathan up, and I did, and then when it hit him, my car just pushed, and Mahu was able to capitalize, and that was the end of that. And I was pretty upset with myself, and because I wanted to win at my home track more than anything. I've been so close so many times here in the 10 seasons of Nitro, and something always goes wrong or something, and that's just how it goes sometimes. But second's alright, I guess, but I felt like we had a car that could have won the race. I just made a mistake and cost myself the win. It's like the second time I did that. I had Atlanta one and I made a mistake too, so it is what it is. Playoffs start next week at Bristol. If you guys enjoyed it, please feel free to follow, like, and subscribe. And you can watch these Nitro races live on my Twitch channel. If you guys enjoyed it, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.